Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to completely change how you look at your garden. Because you see, it's not just a patch of dirt. Nope, it's a bustling community. We're going to unlock the secrets to a healthier, more productive garden, all by understanding the incredible ways that plants actually interact with each other.
So let me ask you something. Does this feel familiar? You put in all the hours, the watering, the weeding, the waiting, and at the end of the day, you just feel like your garden isn't giving back the love you're putting in. It's a really common frustration, but believe me, there is a better way.
And these are the classic signs that your garden community is in distress. You find yourself fighting off what feels like an endless army of pests. You're watching your beautiful leaves turn yellow from disease, and ultimately, you're getting harvests that are, well, let's just say less than impressive. It can totally feel like a losing battle.
And this, right here, is the big idea for today. This is the key shift in thinking. Instead of constantly reacting to problems as they pop up, we can proactively design a garden that pretty much helps take care of itself. It is all about strategy, not just sweat.
That's right. It's that simple. Plants can be really good neighbors or really, really bad ones. The secret is to start thinking of your garden bed as a carefully planned neighborhood, one where everyone is helping each other out. And this whole concept, it's called companion planting.
So let's get the official definition down. A companion plant is basically a buddy plant. It's a plant that brings a very specific benefit to its neighbor. That could be pest control, it could be a nutrient boost, or it could even be something as simple as providing a little helpful shade.
This is probably the most famous example out there, and for a good reason. Planting basil next to tomatoes is a classic win-win. Gardeners have sworn for generations that it makes the tomatoes taste better, and that strong scent from the basil helps keep nasty pests like the tomato hornworm far, far away.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating, because these interactions are so specific. On the left, we see that basil isn't just repelling pests. It's also helping manage the soil moisture for the tomato, which can actually stop the fruit from splitting open. Genius! But then you look at the right side, and you see the total opposite. Onions literally release compounds from their roots that inhibit the growth of beans. They are just not good neighbors.
And here's another brilliant example of how this works: scent camouflage. The carrot rust fly, it finds carrots by their smell. But if you plant rosemary nearby, its powerful aroma acts like a cloaking device, hiding the carrots from the pest. It's amazing. On the flip side, dill can actually attract pests that also love carrots, creating a problem instead of solving one.
This might just be the most beautiful example of a plant community in action. The Three Sisters is an ancient Native American technique, and it's just perfect. Each plant provides a critical service for the others. The corn offers a natural trellis, the beans provide essential nitrogen for all three plants, and the squash acts like a living mulch, keeping the soil cool and moist while choking out weeds. It's a perfect, self-sustaining little ecosystem.
All right, so we've seen what works, but now it's time to ask why it works. That's where the science comes in, and it reveals this hidden chemical language that's behind all these plant friendships and rivalries.
So, these are pretty much the main ways that these companion plants help each other out. They can act like bodyguards, repelling pests or calling in reinforcements like ladybugs and other helpful pollinators. They can be soil builders like the beans we just saw, and they can even be physical helpers, offering support or a little bit of shade.
And here it is. This is the key scientific concept behind all of it: allelopathy. It is essentially the chemical language of plants. They release these invisible compounds from their roots, their leaves, their flowers, and those compounds send powerful messages to everything growing around them.
And just like with our language, these chemical messages can be encouraging and helpful, or they can be hostile. Positive allelopathy is what happens when rosemary helps out a carrot. And negative allelopathy, well, that's what happens when an onion literally stunts the growth of a bean.
So companion planting is all about who sits next to who this year. But to keep a garden truly healthy in the long term, we have to think about who lives in that neighborhood from one year to the next.
The classic rookie mistake. We've all been there. You have an amazing tomato harvest one year, so you think, great, I'll plant them in the same spot next year. And then it's a total failure. That's not bad luck. It's actually a predictable problem with a very specific cause. So here's what's going on. Each plant family takes very specific nutrients from the soil, and they also attract very specific pests and diseases. So if you plant the same family in the same spot year after year, you're basically setting a giant dinner table for all their enemies while starving the plants themselves. And the solution is so simple, yet so powerful: crop rotation. By just moving your plant families around each year, you completely break the life cycles of those pests and diseases, and you give the soil a much-needed chance to recover and rebalance itself. And hey, this isn't just guesswork. This table actually shows you the recommended waiting periods. Notice how those heavy feeding and disease-prone families, like tomatoes and peppers, that's the Solanaceae family, they need a really long break, like 3 to 5 years. Others, like the cabbage family, need a little less time. Think of this as your long-term playbook for garden health.
Okay, here's a super simple way to visualize it. Imagine you divide your garden into 4 zones. In year 1, you plant your fruit veggies, like tomatoes. The next year, you move them and you plant leafy greens in that spot. Then roots. And finally, in year 4, you bring in the legumes, the beans and peas, to pump nitrogen back into the soil, getting it all ready for the fruit veggies to return in year 5. Then you just repeat the cycle.
Okay, deep breath. We've covered companion planting and we've covered crop rotation. Now it's time to bring it all together so you can design your own thriving garden community.
This is really where it all comes together. I want you to start thinking of yourself not just as a gardener, but as a garden architect. You are designing a blueprint for a thriving little community where every single plant has exactly what it needs to flourish. So here are your guiding principles, your cheat sheet. Pair friends and separate the foes. Mix in lots of flowers and herbs to act as your pest patrol. Always group plants with similar needs, sun, water, together. Make sure you implement that 4-year rotation plan, and maybe most importantly, sketch it out first. A simple plan on paper can save you a world of trouble later. So as you start planning your garden, don't just think about what you want to eat. Think about the community you want to build. Think about who gets along with whom, who helps each other out, and who's going to make the entire neighborhood a better place to live. So the real question is, who are you going to enlight this year?